While I was putting this video together, I realized that Yelp has its own YouTube channel. However, if you go there, you'll notice that the comments and the likes and or dislikes have been disabled. So a company that encourages people to give their opinions of businesses is all for that, as long as you're not talking about theirs, apparently. You can be sued for information that you post on Yelp's website, and this is just one example of many. According to CBS 2's Elise Finch, Emily Finelli is not a happy customer. In February, she hired Mr. Stanless of Staten Island to refinish her hardwood floors without traditionally sanding and use of the chemical polyurethane. So long story short, she was not happy with the work that was done. So after failing to resolve the issue with the company's owner, Finelli filed a lawsuit and complained about him and his company on the internet. She went on Yelp and said, "Do not use Mr. Gardner, Mr. Sandless. He's a scam. He's a liar." Well, a judge determined that Finelli's repeated use of the term scam, liar, con artist, and robs on Yelp and other internet review sites constitutes defamation, is not protected speech, and ordered Finelli to pay Gardner $1,000 in damages. Hi, my name's Mike, and usually I make videos about fixing phones, tablets, electronics, that kind of stuff, basically to help other people solve their wireless problems. Today I want to talk about something else that needs to be fixed. So what is Yelp exactly? It's kind of a community-based sort of website where people can post reviews of businesses that they visited and their experiences with those businesses so that other people have an idea where they can expect to find quality goods and services. At least that's the way the website is presented. Now, being someone who has used Yelp for about the last 10 years or so, not only as someone who posts reviews, but also in dealing with a lot of small businesses who have direct experience with Yelp and Yelp's representatives, I'd like to show you a few things that you probably are not aware of. One thing that really got me, and as I share this information with other people who have spent their time on Yelp, is the whole system that Yelp uses for filtering. And I like to call this a stealth filtering system. What happened was about 10 years ago, I started posting reviews on Yelp, and I would go back every once in a while to kind of see where I had reviewed, what I had written about what business, and I'd update any information that I didn't feel was still accurate. And there's a problem with that also, but I'll get to later on. So what I did notice, however, just randomly one day, is that when I was not logged into my Yelp account and I looked up the businesses I had recently written reviews for, my reviews were completely missing from the business's page. They had gone into the filtered section, which is an area that no one ever visits, to my knowledge, very few people anyways. And so I started to realize that when I logged into my Yelp account, I could see the reviews that I had written. But when I was logged out, they seemed to have vanished. This is not my personal account, but it is an account of someone who was okay with me accessing it. You can see the username up here at the top, and we're going to take a look at one of his reviews. This is for Los Panchos Mexican Restaurant. And I just want to make sure that everyone can see this is on Pacheco Boulevard in Martinez, California. And if you scroll down at the top of his account, you'll see recommended reviews. His will be at the top of the list. And then there's one right underneath it. I'm not sure what they did to add this review to select your rating again. But you can see that his 3-star rating is right up there at the top of the recommended reviews. Now I'm going to open another browser. And I'm not logged into an account, as you can see up at the top right-hand corner. I'm going to refresh the page so that you'll know that everything on this is current. This is Los Panchos Mexican Restaurant, once again, in Martinez, California. And if you scroll down to the recommended reviews, of course, his isn't going to necessarily show up at the top. You can go up here and you can sort these by date and by lowest and highest rating and so forth. But when you have several pages involved, that doesn't really make that much of a difference. So what you will notice here, though, is that if I scroll all the way down past these other reviews, way down to the bottom of the page, you can see these go on for several pages. There's at least 9 pages here of reviews, but I've already done the homework here. If you go to the section that says reviews that are not currently recommended, we click onto that, and below this you'll see some that have been filtered out by Yelp's algorithm. Now I'm going to continue reading other reviews that are not recommended, and then I'm just again going to jump ahead here because I've already done the homework. We need to go all the way to the 3rd page of non-recommended reviews, and then we can see that the second not recommended filter review is from Jack B, who is the same person that is logged into his account in another browser. So click back over here and you can see that while he's logged into his account, and I'll refresh the page again so that everyone can see that this is current, his review shows up as if it is visible. Okay, so let's take a look at another review. Now, right below it here, we have Jack again, and Matsu Sushi Japanese restaurant. We're going to take a look at this 4-star rating that he left. And you can see this is on Contra Costa Boulevard in Pleasant Hill, California. So we'll scroll down, and once again, we have this. It looks like they're asking for an update on the review, possibly. But again, he shows up as being at the very top of the page, which of course will be convenient for you to be able to go in and see your reviews right away. But the problem is, once again, we're not logged into his account. And guess what's going to happen? That review that he took time and effort to put in to try to help other people out and tell them how much he likes this restaurant, not visible. You must click into the filtered section in order to see that review. And even then, you've got to go through several pages until you can get to the correct one. And once again here, I guess lucky number 3, we click on the number 3 and scroll down, and here a little ways down the page you'll see Jack B. So here is the same review that is visible to the user when they're logged in, as if anyone cares, but guess what? No one has the opportunity to see it because it is filtered unless they go digging through here. And once again, this does not contribute to the overall star rating that is assigned to that business by Yelp. This is ridiculous. Now, I want to do just one more, and I promise we'll move on. So here's a review that was just posted by the same user. It says your review is now live. So you can go in and see, if you click on your account, this recent review that you just posted because you wanted to tell the world how much you like this business and how much they deserve your time and energy to tell other people, hey, you should go check this place out. There you are, right at the top of the list, right? The most recent review for that business is Jack B, given a 4-star rating. Now, I'm going to let you guess what happens next here. We'll go ahead and punch in the name of the business, which is 20 Rows. Select that in our browser where we are not logged into an account. You can verify that it is the same business information. And just to simplify things here, I'm going to sort these by the newest first, because what should we have? No, the newest one is March 5th, which is an earlier date than the one that we posted, which was on April 11th. So what happened here? Let's scroll down to the bottom, all the way down to where we can access the filtered section, so that if you don't happen to be the person that wrote the review, you will actually be able to see it. And I'll give them credit for this. It is the most recent one there, but it doesn't show up to most people. Because of the way that the website functions when you're logged in, this will, in my opinion, basically allow people to believe that their opinion still counts, because it looks like the reviews are visible, once again, as long as they're logged in. Now, when I started meeting other people who were kind of fans of Yelp, if you want to say that, and I pointed this out to them, they literally did not believe what I said until I showed them. I would have them open up their phone or their computer, pull up the review that they had written while they were logged in, and then I would open up the same area of Yelp that they were showing me their post from, and it was gone. It was, once again, in the filtered section. And you should see the look on people's faces, because if you think about it, you spent your time putting together this well-constructed review of a business that you either love or you hate, or maybe you're somewhere in between, and you're trying to help other people determine whether or not they should go there. And your information is not even publicly visible unless they jump through some hoops to find it. But chances are, if you're under that impression, you're going to continue to contribute free information to this website, this commercial website. A while back, I had a Yelp representative contact me, and I honestly don't remember what her name was. I've worked with a lot of small businesses with their online reputation, marketing, and so forth. And I was in charge of this particular company's advertising. And when the Yelp rep called me and said, we see that you're doing really well in this one particular location, I said, that's all great. But let me tell you, I have a history with Yelp. I know a little bit about your company. And here's my question for you. Why is it that when we have legitimate customers who want to offer their opinion, it's very hit and miss? Sometimes they get through, sometimes they don't. And a lot of times we have reviews that are written quite obviously by people who have never been to our business before. So how do you explain that? Her response was that Yelp has this amazing algorithm that is so good that it actually filters out real reviews. Okay, I want you to think about that for just a second. I don't know about your definition of good, but my definition of a good algorithm would mean that it works accurately, that it makes sense, that there is some sort of logic that it is based on to determine what is correct or what is real and what is not. But what she said to me was that their algorithm is so good basically that it doesn't work. So it filters out legitimate reviews. What is the point of writing a legitimate review if it's going to be filtered out by an algorithm that no one seems to want to share any information about? Now, here's a really weird thing. You can look up a business and find a review that was written 2, 3, 4 years ago, and at the same time, a review that was written last week has been filtered. Now, ask yourself this question. If you were going to, say, a restaurant and you wanted to decide what people enjoyed eating, would you really be that concerned about how they felt regarding the food and the service at this restaurant 3 years ago? Much can change in 6 months, not to mention years. It could be new management, it could be a new menu, it could be a new owner. Why? Why in the world would you leave a 3-year-old review up at the top of the page for someone's business when you have 5, 10, 12 more that are more recent and all go to the filtered section? Not only that, but I dealt with a new business who had just created their Yelp account maybe 3 months prior or so and had at least a dozen reviews. Now, most of them were 4 and 5 stars. There were a couple that were 3, and I think they even had one that was a single 1 star, which is the lowest rating you can get. And every single one of their reviews was in the filtered section. So here you have a dozen people who took time out of their day to share their opinion of a business, good or bad, with the rest of this Yelp community, and every single review goes into the filtered section. Meanwhile, there are absolutely zero reviews on this business's Yelp page. Now, there are a certain number of people on Yelp who are complaining just because they want free stuff. And I'm not saying that's the majority, but they certainly exist. We all know that person in the group who will go to a restaurant and hope to find something wrong with the food so that they can basically get a free meal out of it one way or another. And Yelp is no different. There are a certain number of people who will go on and threaten a business owner and say, if you don't do what I want you to, I am going to write a horrible review about your business. And I know about these firsthand because, again, I've worked with businesses who are attempting to maintain a good reputation online, and they've run into this obstacle many times. And here's a great example. Customer comes in and asks for a repair on a tablet. The repair is performed, the customer goes home, everything's checked out before he leaves, and he comes back a week later saying that he's having problems. So the repair is performed a second time, and again, there's nothing wrong with the tablet when it leaves the store. It's fully tested. It's tested in front of the customer. He signed off on it, said that everything's fine. And keep in mind, this is a tablet that's been through some severe use and abuse before it was repaired, and it's probably a wonder that it could be repaired. But long story short, he gets home and says, you know what? I'm not happy with this. My iPad is not like brand new, and I want you to fix it. And the business owner is in a position where he has to choose between saying, well, I'm sorry I can't help you. Take a walk and go ahead and write whatever negative review you want to. And he weighs that against, well, if I just give this guy another tablet, is it going to be worth it in the long run? And I think that a lot of business owners' perception of how powerful Yelp is distorted, because really, if you're relying on Yelp for your business to succeed, you probably have bigger problems than just the rating that people are leaving on that website. However, in this situation, they chose, after the customer went ahead and published his negative 1-star review on Yelp, they chose to go ahead and replace his tablet under the condition that he would go back and update his review and say, hey, I've got this problem taken care of, and so forth. So this 1-star review that was on Yelp for probably a week and a half or so was updated. He changed it to a 4-star review, said he was happy with the service that he received. Everything was fine. And guess what? A couple days later, that review went into the filtered section. And this seems to be a common thing. It's as if the negative reviews have a better chance of staying visible than the positive ones. And I'm not sure why this happened. Again, something to do with Yelp's secret algorithm, but just something to think about. If you're really concerned about the review staying on your page, give it a week or two. I've found in many cases 30 days is a good time frame for negative reviews, which is unfortunate that they would leave something that's not legitimate on a visible section of their site that allows your rating to be affected for a full 30 days before they decide to go in and pull the plug because it's not legitimate. It doesn't make a lot of sense. However, on the other hand, you'll run into a lot of legitimate reviews that are 4 or 5 stars, and they get filtered immediately. If you want to hear more interesting information about Yelp, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out my YouTube channel. If you've got comments or questions, put them in the section below the video. And by all means, check out your other options. There are plenty to choose from. Merchant Circle, TripAdvisor, Google+, YP.com, the list goes on. But as long as people continue to invest their time in Yelp as is, it's unlikely that much is going to change. Last but not least, share this video with your friends. Let's get the word out there and let people know what's really going on. Thanks for watching.